Season 15 left Warmind Cells dead in the ditch. The explosion radius was decreased by 40% and the damage was nerfed by 75%. We're supposed to be god killers, the most powerful beings in the universe. It's taken almost a year for that power to come back to us. With Solar 3.0 and this season's artifact mods, the massive explosions are finally back. With the help of Tuna, my Patreon community, this build was able to rise from the death of Warmind Cells. This build is extremely easy to use and the mods that you need for it to work are all in your seasonal artifact. If you like this build, I do custom handcrafted builds for everyone on Patreon. Every cheat sheet, encyclopedia, playbook, or any resource I create is always posted there first before everywhere else. In the Patreon, you get access to a constantly growing library of exclusive content. It's the best place to be if you want to enjoy Destiny more. Thanks. So with this build on Titan and any other class, we're trying to keep Radiant up 100% of the time so that we have the 25% damage buff from Radiant, as well as all of our solar weapon kills are going to be these massive explosions that we get. To get the massive explosions, you're going to use the Rays of Precision class item mod as the seasonal artifact mod, while Radiant Solar Precision Final Blows cause combatants to ignite. Ignite is the Solar 3.0 way of saying a massive explosion. It's equivalent to pre-nerfed Warmind Cells. And then also I like to use Solar Fulmination just to make the radius of the ignition even bigger. On Sunbreaker, we're going to use the Solar Invictus aspect and the Consecration aspect. You can use whichever two you want since both give a total of 4 fragments. For the fragments, we're going to use Ember of Torches, which is how we're going to get Radiant mostly, just by using your powered melee. You don't have to get a powered melee kill, you just have to use it and do damage to any combatants. So when you do that, you'll get Radiant and your allies will as well. This is the damage buff that you get. We're also going to use Ember of Eruptions, which increases the ignition's radius, the solar ignition's explosion even more. So we're getting like these huge massive explosions, both of Ember of Eruptions and the class item seasonal artifact mod. We're also going to use Ember of Solace, which increases the duration of the Radiant buff. It just makes the timer longer, so that way you're less likely to run out of that time. And to keep it up even longer, we're also going to use Ember of Empyrean, so just solar weapon or solar ability final blows will extend the duration of Radiant. So all of these are about keeping Radiant up 100% of the time, so that way you can get the solar precision kills from Rays of Precision that make the massive explosions for this build. For weapons, all you need is a solar weapon. A couple that I really like are Callus Mini Tool. You can get Incandescent on it. What it does is it'll spread the Scorch when there's enough Scorch attacks, that'll make ignitions as well. You can also go with a solar exotic weapon. If you want to go that option, you could change Solar Fulmination and go with Flame Harvesting. So really good ones are Sunshot, you get explosives that way. You could go Skyburner's Oath, where you get Scorch from the bullets that you use. You could also go Tommy's Matchbook. That's a really good option. You can go Taiku's Divination. There's a lot of really good options that you can go with for weapons. And then a pro tip is if you go with a solar weapon that has Dragonfly and put Dragonfly spec on it, or if you go with Visitor Confluence with Firefly, you get double explosions. So you get the explosion from Dragonfly or Firefly, which is precision kills, and then you also get the explosion from Rays of Precision. So you get 2 explosions for 1 kill. For armor mods, like I said on the class item, you go Solar Fulmination and Rays of Precision. On the boots, I like to use a solar pair of boots because I throw on the Explosive Well Maker mod, which creates solar wells if you get explosive damage. And this procs from the ignitions from Rays of Precision, as well as just all the other solar damage that you're doing. I also like to use Absolution, which just reduces all of your cooldowns when you pick up an orb of power. You could also use Recuperation or double innovation, like I'm using one here, but you could also double up. For your chest piece, I like to just double up with Armor of the Dying Star for double damage resistance. You could use whatever damage resistance you want, or you could go with extra ammo reserves on whatever weapons you're using. But Melee Wellmaker is really good. It combines with the Throwing Hammer, so you start this whole thing off by getting a Throwing Hammer kill. It'll spawn a well, which when you pick up that well, you will get extra solar weapon damage. So this is on top of Radiant from Font of Might, and I have that on my gloves here. I also have melee kickstart. You can go grenade kickstart instead, because with the throwing hammer, you'll never not have your melee ability since you're just going to throw it and then pick it up, but you can go grenade kickstart or melee kickstart on a stasis pair of gloves. And then I just use whatever champion mod, the type of content that I'm using. You could also use fastball instead. And then on my helmet, I like to use a solar helmet so I can put on bountiful wells. This just spawns an extra well when you make one. When we make the well from explosive well maker, we're getting 2 wells instead of 1 well. And then I throw on ashes to assets. This just gives bonus super energy from grenade kills. And then harmonic siphon, which combos really well with the solar weapon that you're using. You'll just create orbs of power to get your super faster, and then it combos with your boots, the innervation, pick up the orb and get grenade cooldown, and then absolution. Or if you wanted to use recuperation and get health back every time you pick up an orb of power, whichever one. So the basic rotation of this build is just to start with your throwing hammer. You can either get a kill or just do damage with it. That'll proc Radiant from the Ember of Torches, and then Radiant just lasts a really long time because of Ember of Solace. While you're Radiant, the precision kills that you do with a solar weapon will make ignitions, which are just large explosions from raise to precision on your class item. These explosions are going to do increased radius and damage because of solar fulmination, and then the radius is even bigger because of Ember of Eruption. And then because you're already using your solar weapon to proc raise to precision, you also will increase the duration of restoration, which you're not going to be using too much, but it increases the duration of Radiant, which we want to have all the time up. And that's it. You can use this build on any class. All you need to do is just be Radiant, get precision kills with a solar weapon using raise to precision, and then you can increase the damage and the radius of that with solar fulmination. So all you need is Radiant, solar weapon, and then the seasonal artifact mods. This is how I do it on Titan, but you can do it on any class. Thanks for watching.